On, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. It's a nice chilly Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. I want to get right into this and go over the 2026 Yankees payroll. I'm going to put it on screens from Spot Track. We could break it down by numbers. There's been a lot of chatter right now about the Yankees payroll, right? One person saying this, one person saying that, and so on and so forth. And then people sharing this stuff on Twitter and Discord and blah, blah, blah. And while I'd rather you just have the full pictures, you could see it yourself, okay? Because already, and this is what happens. A couple weeks ago, somebody posted on Twitter, Albert Pujols, my sources are telling me Albert Pujols is going to be the next Angels manager. Well, guess what? That didn't be the case. That's not the case. So my sources are telling me that you don't have sources, okay? So the Angels have hired Kurt Suzuki to be the new manager. That's as of today. It's on MLBTradeRumors.com. So congratulations to Kurt Suzuki and the Angels. And we wish you well. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Kunstler Yeti, Ken, Lorenzo. What's good, everybody? Now, let's put this right on the screen, okay? So we can go over it. This is the 2026 financial summary, payroll for the Yankees. Broken down by player, okay? You can see from highest paid to lowest paid. Judge, $40 million. Garrett Cole, 36. Max Free, 27,250. Carlos Rodon, 27. Giancarlo Stanton, 22. But you got a minus now. You've got to take 10 away, right? Or maybe that is taking 10 away already. Jazz Chisholm, 11.7. Ryan McMahon, 11.6. David Bednar, $9 million. Camille Duvall, $5 million. Then there's an option on Jonathan Loaizaga for $5 million, but it hasn't been exercised. So it should not be considered into this yet. Clark Schmidt, $5 million. Mark Leiter Jr., 3.75. Luis Hill, 3.4. Anthony Volpe, 3.2. Tim Hill, $3 million. He's also an option for him for 2026. Both options are team options. So we'll find out in the next week or so whether they get exercised or not. And that'll give us a little more clarity on Yankees' potential attack plans for free agency. Because when it comes to Tim Hill, as much as I like to have him back, he should not be the primary lefty. I think they need to add a lefty to him. And I'll get into that because I'm going to go over my blueprint of what I think they'll put the Yankees in the 2026 World Series. That's going to come out later on this week as well. Jose Caballero, $2.5 million. Fernando Cruz, $1.25. Oswaldo Cabrera, $1 million. Jake Bird, $1 million. And everybody out beyond that is under. Pre-arb and arb and so on and so forth. Okay. Scott Efros, $900K. Jake Cousins, $900K. Ian Hamilton, $850. Michael Arias, $829. J.C. Escar, $829. Cam Schlittler, $829. Gary De Los Santos, $820. Ben Rice, $820. Will Warren, $820. You got Austin Wells, $820. Jason Dominguez, $820. Brent Hedrick, Braden Shoemake, $820. And the rest of the guys, Javian Sanders, Alan Winans, Yorba Vivas, all making $820. A bunch of these guys, I have a feeling they're going to be chopped off in the next couple of weeks to save up room for the guys that need to be put on the 40-man to protect them from the Rule 5 draft. So expect some of these guys to not be here, okay? That's part of the payroll, okay? And then you got Aaron Hicks, $10 million that the Yankees owed him. Now he's going to be off the books, okay? And that's dead money. It's $1 million dead money now. Okay, and they're retaining DJ LeMahieu's $15 million until next year. He'll be off the books completely next year. So Hicks is off the books completely now, except with the exception of the $1 million dead money because of tax purposes. And DJ LeMahieu's $15 million comes off the books after next year. Now, as it pertains to totals, you'll see here the active roster. 26-man, $161,333K, 333. Ninth in all baseball. Dead money, $1 million in dead money from Aaron Hicks. Retained money, $15 million. That's from DJ. So that takes you at $177 million for the active roster. But that's not including the 40-man, which includes a ton of other players. Essentially 14 other guys. Then you have total adjusted payroll allocations. Okay, it's 177, 333, 333. And then projected total payroll includes estimates for arbitration and pre-arb. It takes you up to 230, 573.33. So it's almost $50 million in added estimates for pre-arb and arb. You'll see here, pre-arbitration projected $50 million, projected pre-arb $3.24 million. Okay. So now it takes them up to 230 million. Now this year they were about what, 316? So they are about 86 million under where they were at this year. And keep in mind as well, okay, go down a little bit further, you can see some more details here. So competitive balance tax threshold. Now you're factoring in stuff. But there's a caveat to this too, and I'm going to get into this when I get this off the screen. Guarantee contracts, 163,916. Injured contracts, 0. Retained contracts, 15 for DJ. Player benefits, 18 million. Minor league contracts, 2.7 million. These all factor into the payroll expenditures. Pre-arb, bonus pool contribution, 1.666, takes them into 201, okay? Which with the competitive backs talents space is 42.7 million, okay? So all in all, when you do a little bit further breakdown here, again, you got your projected arbitration, 50, projected pre-arb, 3.2, and then you got projected tax payroll. This puts them at 254, 523, 333. Again, includes tax payroll, right? So, and then projected competitive balance tax base, active and plus estimated arbitration and estimated pre-arb, minus 10 million. So it takes down to 244 and change. So these are the numbers, okay? There's been some folks talking about what? The payroll situation for the Yankees, right? How much they have to spend. We don't know how much they have to spend, but this is what the payroll looks like so far for 2026. And one thing I can't emphasize enough, okay, is that the payroll luxury taxes do not get factored in until the end of the season because they base the payroll off the end of the season and not the beginning of the season. That's why this is a little bit skewed here as well, okay? So if before arbitration and pre-arb, the payroll is at 177 million. Add those numbers, takes them about 223. You add the 5227, something like that. To match this year, it gives them about $90 million of wiggle room to be spending. Okay, if they want to match. And then again, the luxury tax penalties, the Cohen threshold penalties get factored in once they're estimated to be over the Cohen threshold at the end of the season. Not the beginning, not the trade deadline, at the end of the season. That's why they do it that way. Okay? So I wanted you to have a thorough understanding. And I'm going to attach this down below so you can read it. If you wanted to read it in your free time, you can take a look at deeper dive into it. You can do that. But these are the numbers as it pertains to the Yankees for heading into 2026. That doesn't include what they're going to add in salaries. They've got to replace folks, right? You got 10 million coming off from Giancarlo Stanton. You've got to replace Cody. You've got to replace Paul Goldschmidt, Devin Williams, Luke Weaver. Okay, a bunch of other folks as well. Med Rosario, folks becoming free agents. So this is why they have a good chunk of money. Bellinger's option was like 25 million. Then Goldschmidt 12.5 takes him to 37.5. Then you get Devin Williams at 9 takes him to like 46. Right. So, and then you've got Hicks is $10 million off now. 56 million right there, and then not including a lot of other stuff. So this is where the number can accumulate pretty quickly. And again, not including what? Tim Hill, not including Johnny Loizaga, not including some of the other guys who are going to be free agents too, right? So yeah, and everybody need to smack that like button while you're in the chat, by the way. But I wanted you, does everyone understand? Do you have the numbers kind of make a little bit more sense? Okay. Because there's so many different talking points as to what the payroll is. The Yankees are not going to spend. Yankees, how do you know that? We don't know. It really depends on what they're going to do this offseason, right? How do they replace Paul Goldschmidt? Do they replace him with Ben Rice? Or do they replace him with someone else, right? And move Ben Rice to catcher? And then at that point, what do you do with Austin Wells? Right? So options, yeah. And again, that's the real numbers right there. And the options, and again, you take the number like that's if you include the options. That's why there was in the red. I pointed out Tim Hill and John Loizaga because those are the only two ones that have options for this year. They're team options. Loizaga's $5 million. Tim Hill's $3 million. Again, I'm going to attach it down below so you can see it. You'll see them in red. Okay. Now, Spotrac does include the options. They factor that in ahead of time. So with the assumption that they're going to be included into the numbers. Okay. So what do the Yankees do? How do they replace Bellinger? Do they replace Bellinger and bring back Bellinger? Or do they replace him with Kyle Tucker? Or do they add Kyle Tucker to Cody Bellinger? In which case, then it almost guarantees a trade of either Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez or both, right? And then how do you replace Paul Goldschmidt? Do you replace him with Ben Rice? Do you move him to first base? Or do you sign a contact hitter for first base, right? So what happens here? Then you have obviously Pete Alonso, but Pete Alonso is going to be way expensive. Scott Boras' client, is he the right fit here? I don't know. I mean, you want to stick it to the Mets, okay. But I think the Pirates, I mean, the Phillies have a better chance at sticking it to the Mets by adding Pete Alonso to them. But we'll see, right? Well, exactly too, right? Yeah, if there wasn't negative talking points being banned. Yeah, I mean, it comes to the territory. It's constant. Fair weather fan and negative talking points. It's constant, right? It's constant. And there are there's some other right-handed bats, right? That fit as well. Really depends on what the Yankees are looking for. I mean, that's why I keep talking about contact bats. With contact bats, you have these guys work the count, right? Just like the Blue Jays have been doing, like the Dodgers have been doing, right? To pitchers, wearing down pitchers. And what happens? They stay ahead of the count. When the batter's ahead of the count, the pitcher's behind the count, right? So what does that do? It forces pitchers to then throw more in the zone now, which gives batters the opportunity to be a little bit more aggressive hitting because they're ahead of the count, right? Patience first, aggressiveness later. And this is why contact hitters are so important. That's why the Yankees would be wise to add probably two of them. It's one reason I've been pushing for Brendan Dunneman to be traded here, right? So it's not going to cut it, William. The Yankees, so just so you know, if you haven't heard, the Yankees offered Jones and Lombard to the Pirates for Skeens, and the Pirates said no. Pirates said it wasn't enough. So, and what do you do? Let's just say Rice plays first base, then you catch Austin Wells, or Rice goes to catcher, you sign a first baseman. What do you do with Austin Wells then? Do you trade him, right? So, and if you do you bring in a veteran backstop to back up Ben Rice? That's hits on the righty side, right? So I think the Yankees will be probably busier in the trade market than they are free agency. But these numbers will give you an idea of what kind of room they have to play with in the free agency, and obviously what type of salary they would be willing to assume in trades, right? Yeah, and Ken, I've been talking to Ken about Josh Naylor. And it's a good point. I wasn't thinking about Josh Naylor really until Ken started talking about him. He doesn't come with a qualifying offer because he was traded at the deadline. He's a contact guy. He stole 30 bases. He hits a lot of doubles, right? He had a decent amount of home runs, almost 100 RBIs. He's a solid defender, okay? And he's battle tested in the postseason. And he hits over 300 in the postseason. So that's pretty darn good. And he's got a better bat than he got a better glove than Pete Alonso does. He's got a better glove than Munetaka Murakami does. And there's another Korean first baseman, third baseman, Kazuma Okamoto, that we're heard that he was going to get posted. Now we're hearing that he might not be posted and so on and so forth. But I haven't seen corroborating reports confirming that he's been not going to be posted yet, right? And so we'll see there. But he's another contact bat that can, from hits on the righty side, it would be a good fit here because he also plays the outfield along with the infield. Plays first, third, and the outfield, which gives the Yankees some positional versatility, just like Brendan Donovan would, just like Ahmed Rosario, just like Jose Capillo does, right? So, I mean, John, look, I mean, again, I don't know why people are so outraged about this the baby rocking thing with I don't care. Fact is, he's a contact hitting first baseman who's battle tested in the playoffs now. He performs in the playoffs, and he will be cheaper than a Murakami, be a lot cheaper than Alonso. And Alonso, at some point, I think he's going to have to be DH, and we're going to need to keep that DH spot open for Aaron Judge in a couple of years once Stanton leaves. That's the other thing, too. I don't think Josh Naylor is going to need to be moving to DH in the next 2-3 years. So that's, yeah, I mean, Naylor's he's an intriguing possibility. And the more that I think about it, I haven't talked with Ken from the Ugly Truth. The more that he becomes part of my potential blueprint for a 2026 World Series run for the Yankees. It just makes sense. Could you imagine adding him and Brendan Donovan to the lineup? 2 contact bats? Yes. Yeah. We need contact bats here, right? We do. Aside from doing the other things that we need to do, right? So, but right now, before arbitration and pre-arb, it's 177 million. Afterward, it's a little under 230. The Yankees. So the payroll, all in all, will likely be before tax penalties will be almost 90 million less than it was last year. So that's the Yankees' operating space right now, unless they decide to move people and clear some more payroll. And like I said, they could take some of those guys on the bottom of that list and get them off the 40 man or trade them in packages for fringe players or other prospects or whatnot. That way they can put guys like Spencer Jones, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, Carlos LaGrange, Chase Hampton. Those guys need to be on the 40 man to protect them from the Rule 5 draft because they're all Rule 5 eligible this offseason. So expect a bunch of those moves to happen in the next couple of weeks. The Rule 5 draft is the last day of the winter meetings, which is December 11th. So that's right around the corner. It's like 6 weeks away, right? Or a little more than that. So, yep. Yeah, pure leadoff hitter. I mean, the pure leadoff hitter I can think of is Stephen Kwan for the outfield. I mean, that would be crazy, but it won't be cheap. Yeah. That wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, you'd probably have to give them. Jason Dominguez and probably Luis Hill to be in start the conversation, right? So I don't know. You know what? Like we lost to the Blue Jays. They beat us. I as much as I don't like that they're in the World Series, I'm very happy that Don Mattingly is in the World Series. That to me, he's the best part of the Blue Jays team, and so I'm going to root for them for that reason alone, because Don Mattingly's with them. I want Don Mattingly to get a ring. If he can't be here, I want him to get a ring with the Blue Jays. Yeah. The problem is, I mean, again, the problem is I highly doubt J. Ramsey becomes available in Cleveland. Comments about Mets and Yankees. CC's comments? No, what did CC say? CC Sabathia? No, Dominguez, I know he's being shopped this offseason for, at the very least, pitching. That I know from somebody in the inside that works for the Yankees. He's being shopped for pitching. Whether he gets traded or not still remains to be seen. What are the comments, CC? I don't know what the comments are. What are CC's comments? That I have not seen. No. But again, I'm going to attach that, what I had on the screen a little bit ago, I'm going to attach it down below in the description so you can see, have an idea of where the Yankees payroll stands. And you can follow it tangibly. It gets updated anytime the Yankees make a move that pertains to their payroll and their roster. And right now, they can't do anything unless you can release players and blah, blah, blah. You can't acquire anybody in trades and you can't sign anybody in free agency until 5 days after the last game of the World Series. So whenever that happens, you start the 5-day countdown. Then the floodgates open after that. Floodgates open, baby. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us want Scooble and Pinstripes. Yeah, baby. Let me know what CC said to Eric about the Yankees and the Mets. I'd be curious. But who do y'all want with the Yankees in 2026? Will we be shortstopping? Well, Cashman couldn't commit to that. So I'm going with what Cashman says. I wouldn't commit to it either. Because by the time he's fully healthy, you're probably looking, you're not going to be far from George Lombard. So, regular season MVP in a couple weeks. If I had to take Ryan Reynolds in order to get Paul Skeens, then I would probably do it. Yeah, and if there was um, no way to play him here, then I would just release him, cut him, and let someone else sign him. If you were the conduit that would make it possible to sign Paul Skeens, no, yeah. The Mets are a better team than the Yankees, he said in the podcast. Oh, yeah? Well, I don't agree with him, but the Mets were a better team and they would have gotten further. But he's entitled to say what he wants to say. CC. Judge is off the table with anybody. Judge is not being moved for anybody. Rice, no one else is off the table when it comes to Paul Skeens. Yeah. Well, I want Brendan Donovan, John. I would be hesitant to move Jazz Chisholm. Coming off the 30-30 season. I mean, if they want to move on from him after the season is over, then okay, so be it. But like, how are you going to replace him? Dominguez and Hilton. It's going to cost a little bit more than that, but that's probably going to be that has to be in there to get Scooball. So I wouldn't rush Volpe when he comes back. Whenever he's, I would not rush him. Yeah. Dominguez, Jones, Lombard, Wells, and Wilmore and Chase Hampton enough to get it down. Get it done? What do you mean for what? Skeens? You're not gonna have to give up that many guys for Skeens. I'm not sure the Yankees would deal Cam. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Knicks fan. There is I would say there's more than a fair chance that he gets traded now. And the Yankees will be all over him if he does, but we'll see if that happens. I wouldn't trade that much for Skeens, no. Scooball, I would say Dominguez, either Hill or Warren, and at least another prospect or two. I wouldn't say he's better. He's younger. Scooball's at the top, the very, very top. And he's got. I mean, you can get Skeens. You'd be getting him with 4 years and the cheap. That alone has more trade value. But Scooball is, I mean, at the very top of baseball. Scooball and Skeens, both of them. And I would be fine with either one, in all honesty. Scooball will be cheaper in terms of a contract. Stephen B, what's good? He will be cheaper. And Skeens is not represented by Scott Boras. Scooball is. Mackenzie Gore. I would be surprised if the Nationals traded him. But that's just me. It's a good question. I don't know. I hope not, Brandon. I hope there's no lockout. I hope cooler heads can prevail and like these guys just say, look, nothing's going to happen here. Let's make some compromise where we can meet halfway with. And just keep moving forward, man. Just keep moving the game forward. Like this doesn't have to be an ego contest, a dick measuring contest about greed versus greed. It doesn't have to be that. It really doesn't. Bobby Witt's untouchable. The Royals won't trade him. By the time Skeens controls up, yeah, you have a lot of money. And you have Cole coming off the books too, most likely, and some other guys about to come off the books. So, if he gets that far, would I give up Hill for Skeens? Yeah, I would give up Hill for Scooball. Oh yeah. Jones might be in a package for Skubal. He might have to be. It's either him or Dominguez, whichever one the Tigers prefer. Right? Would have to be in that package for Skubal. Yeah. I would hope that he wouldn't be, but if to get a guy like Skubal, you're gonna have to. You got to give to get. You definitely have to give to get, no doubt. Yeah, Bobby Wood's not. He's not going anywhere, Lorenzo. I'm confident of that. He's starting to get expensive. You're right about that too. But he's their franchise, and I don't want to get Bobby Wood when he's over 30. Like, why? We have George Lombard knocking on the door. So, no, it doesn't mean I don't like Bobby Wood. I do. He's an exciting player. He's one of the best players out there. But he's also attached to like a deal. He's got 10 more years on his contract. Like, oof, that's a rough one. The extension would be pretty high, Ollie, for Skubal. How much money do I think? I'd say between a $150 and a $180. Yeah, I think the offseason will be pretty crazy. Probably more so in the trades. I think a trade. I'll look out for players who have 1 year left on their deal before they're free agents, and look for those guys to get locked up to extensions beforehand, before this potential lockout. Hmm. Contreras. You might have to get a complimentary player to a guy like Brendan Donovan too. You might have to get. I mean, I like the guy Ivan Herrera too, that catcher. Even though he's coming off an injury, he's a good-looking catcher. Hits on the righty side, excellent pitch framer, good, good at catching and calling games and. Mhm. Jazz has one more season, Matt. He's a free agent in 2027. So once the 2026 season's over, he's all free agent. So I don't know if Alonso's in play. I mean, there's speculation out there that he might be. There's people definitely pushing for it, but I don't know. $100 million year. We might. We might. Who I don't know, but we might. Yeah. That's why I would, if I'm the Yankees, I'm looking to acquire a catcher, to bring in a catcher, right-handed hitting catcher at the deadline. Yep. Speed, contact, hitting. Oh yeah, speed, more aggressiveness, more patience, right? Not swinging at first pitches. So being more patient at the plate for our hitters, please, 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 please. Yeah, I've been saying the same thing, Ollie. I think the Yankees would be well off to add two contact bats. I think they would be well off to add two. Hmm. Well, look at the Blue Jays lineup. Their lineup is one of the least amount of striking outs lineup. They work the counts. They foul balls off. They're just patient. As all get out. We need the Yankees to kind of follow that mode to a T, or to a degree. Hmm. Right now, you've got Caballero's going to start the season most likely at starting shortstop, and if they bring Rosario, I hope that they do. He can kind of move around the infield along with Oswaldo Cabrera. So, yeah, that's it for shortstop mark at least. At least we know for now. So, but two contact bats are guys that I would, like I said, contact bats work the count, right? They get ahead of the count. When they're ahead, the pitchers are behind. When the pitchers are behind the count, then they have forced to throw more balls in the zone. This is when contact hitters can feast on and move guys up around the bases, right? I'd rather have, Judge and Stanton in position to hit 3-run home runs instead of solo home runs because these guys get on base. Like, we need that. We do. Mm-hmm. Donovan? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Well, he brought in Caballero, he brought in Rosario, none of those guys. He brought in Ryan McMahon. None of those guys are home run hitters, so which is good. Which is good. Mm-hmm. If Tucker goes to the Dodgers, we'll see. I think Munetaka Murakami has a good chance of going to the Dodgers. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I really don't. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't start Rosario. Rosario would be a bench player to me. So would Caballero. That's why I want to trade from Brendan Donovan so he could start and have Rosario and Caballero on the bench, kind of filling around the field, along with Oswaldo Cabrera filling around the field. Right? Yeah. Remember that, Consigliere? Yeah. These guys used to be in the military too, work a second job throughout the season. Guys were working printing presses, fighting wars, like doing all kinds of stuff. Limousine drivers and whatever it might be. These folks used to work second jobs to make ends meet. Pools and somebody said on Twitter like a week ago, my sources have telling me that Albert Pujols is going to be the next Angels manager. That's never happened. Um, Kurt Suzuki is going to be the new manager now, and they already announced it today. So I'm saying I would use the $5 million that I wouldn't be give to John Loaiza to try to reroute that to bringing Ahmed Rosario here. That's what I would do. Yep, Angels hire Kurt Suzuki. Hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's what we got, gang. Just wanted to come here and share this with you this afternoon. I will get back to work in a second here. Hank Greenberg was the first $1 million. You know the first $1 million player was? Hank Greenberg was the first 100K player. Nolan Ryan was the first player to make $1 million in free agency. Nolan Ryan was the first player to make $1 million a year. Yeah, I'll let them troll all they want, Ollie. I don't. Whatever. I don't think there's much of a chance that Aaron Glenn gets fired. The Jets are decimated. ABT is out for the year. It just doesn't make sense to fire him right now. And they're bringing somebody new who's going to deal with the same stuff. No. I want Aaron Glenn to kind of right the ship. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's what we got right now on Tuesday. But there's been a lot of chatter about the payroll. So I wanted to kind of give a little bit more clarity as to where the numbers actually stood, right? It's better for us to have an idea where the payroll stands so we can have an idea, okay, how much wiggle room do these guys actually potentially have, right? So we'll see. I do think I can see the Yankees trading for a starting pitcher, particularly if they happen to deal one or two of their starters in a trade. And they're definitely going to add a starting pitcher. There's no doubt about it. Even though they got some young players who are kind of on the verge, we need somebody at the front, a veteran. Yeah. But that's what we got, guys. So thanks so much for coming on and joining me for a little while. Go have a great rest of the afternoon and great rest of your day. If any news comes out, you know you're going to get it here. So we are in a good spot financially. We have some money coming off, a good chunk coming off. And, the Yankees are in a good spot. Now it's up to see what the market's going to bear out, what they can actually accomplish in this market. So my MLB free agent prediction is going to come out in about a week or so. That's going to be my bigger one. And I'm also going to add a contract prediction for each one of these guys too. What I think they should get, what I think a fair contract would be for them. So stay tuned. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Peace and love to all of you. And I'll see y'all next time.